Recently, I was going through some self-improvement exercises, and one of them consisted in me asking myself, what is my main skill? That question really put me into thinking, and it actually took a couple of hours for me to draw all the answers and realize what is it. I then realized that I see opportunities that others can't. And that has always been the case, from shorting the stocks of Snap Inc. while they had their IPO during my university years, to identifying very unique, rare opportunities in property in Dubai, Bali, and my home country, Moldova. To this moment, I was always able to realize those opportunities from my very own funds and grow my portfolio. But now I grew quite a lot. I have my very own portfolio up and going, and I need your help to grow even bigger. Which is why in this video I decided to tell you how I find the rarest, best investment deals in Dubai, but also in other countries, tell you exactly how I look at them, and hopefully you'll be able to come along the journey and invest with me together. Consider this video as my interview to you, a potential partner, and having a collaboration that is fruitful for both parties together. To start off, I'll tell you about my background and how I came into this world of real estate investing, tell you about a couple of my ex deals, and to those who know me already, you know that I have also a Airbnb business in Bali. We have 20 rooms there and we have been super hosts for the past 4 years. But I've actually started my career in property investing as a hobby back in my home country of Moldova. After quitting my corporate life at Shell in London, I came back to my home country and I was running in a park and saw this new build construction that was just about to start, and just jumped into the project, started talking to the people, and found out that basically this is going to be one of the first skyscrapers that will also have the access as a private access to the park. It's located in the city center, so location was already performing very well. I was looking at the rents nearby, which were performing extremely well to the price that I've calculated per meter square from the developer at that time when they were offering it. So when I was comparing the actual apartments that this developer was offering to the ones in the nearby area, I would see a discrepancy of quite a significant percentage of at least 30 to 50% in price. That's when I realized that there might be an opportunity. So I was actually the first investor who got into that deal, and instead of buying just one apartment and everyone looking at me like a newbie investor at that time, I actually did my maths very well in advance. I knew that I have a potential in 2 years after handover to make X2 or even X2.5, which I actually made at the end. So I came back to the office of the developer and I actually bought 2 apartments. Everyone was shocked there. They didn't believe that a 24-year-old can actually do this, that they have the money. And I tried to convince them and that everything is legit. I had my income statements from London, so the transfer was very seamless, and I got into that deal. After that, the rest was history, because in 2 years I actually sold those both apartments after they were handed over. I did some creative finance to be able to sponsor the remaining parts that I had to pay to the developer, which was basically an option to mortgage the remaining part and just sell it when I find a new seller. So one of them, I actually mortgaged it for only 1 day because I found the seller the very next day. So I had a mortgage for just 1 day, which was crazy. But it was totally worth it. And even the mortgage fees and the setup and the banking admin fees were worth it as well, because my return was X3 actually. So taking out all the costs and so on, I actually ended up having an X2.5 for that. And that was actually the first time I made 100K. Ever since, I was just looking for opportunities, specifically in real estate investing, everywhere in the world. Anytime I would travel anywhere, I would ask the people what's the rent price, what's the selling prices for different types of apartments. I would try to actually go and visit them and even make up some new connections with local developers. So every single country that I travel to, I try to get that information, benchmark it, and see maybe I can find an opportunity there. Yet my experience in real estate investing doesn't end with just buying off plans, doing some creative finance and selling them, but it also expanded into Airbnb and hospitality, which is why I started doing it in Bali. And initially, I was doing it by just renting out something and subleasing basically to other people and living for free. While eventually I met my current partner, and together with him, I helped him basically build a very good online presence and market the 10 apartments that we initially had in December 2019. And currently we have 20 apartments. We are super hosts on Airbnb, and we make some good regular income from that even after surviving COVID. On my side, I was responsible about the financials, the marketing, the tech, the communications with the guests. So everything that has to do with the online work, I was doing that. I was delegating this to people, employed many from Upwork, from Fiverr, and I was also building my social presence. So one of them is YouTube, and I'm trying now to emphasize more on that. After doing these deals, I continued to invest back in my home country. I bought a couple of other flats, sold them after a few years. Some of them sold them literally in 1 week after buying them. So made a couple of flips, how you call them. Invested also in a couple of different types of apartments, although I mainly specialize into studios, 1 beds and 2 beds. I also bought a penthouse, but at that time it felt like a right deal because me and my local partners back in my home country, we actually bought the entire floor. So we were sure that we'll be the only providers of those apartments on that floor, which seemed a super deal at the time. And that's exactly where you start getting those margins, because we were able to negotiate with the developer a better discount and also better payment plans. And that's how you actually can leverage your investments and make more from what you have. Eventually, 6 years passed. Here I am in Dubai, and I'm both working on my very own companies and tech startups, but also growing the real estate investing side. And I've came to realize that Dubai is actually one of the best places where you can do pretty good amount of profits if you are smart enough, if you are rational and you know your numbers, no emotions, just numbers. That's exactly my approach. Then you can actually find those very rare deals that could be either distressed, could be cancellations, could be anything else, maybe through more difficult options such as getting mortgages or refinancing with equity buyouts. I did all this as well. And I personally felt that Dubai is the best place to continue doing this. So I actually sold everything that I had in my home country and started doing it in Dubai. So currently I need to scale this up, and that's exactly why I'm doing this video. Now let me tell you how I get the deals here, because I'm not an agent, I'm not affiliated with any developer, I'm not being paid by anyone. So how the hell do I get those deals? Well, you see, I try to be present and try to find out as much information as possible, filter it, and then build the connections with different people. Agents, could be mortgage advisors, could be brokers, could be the actual developers and their founders. I go to different events, I go to different private meetings, I go to different sales presentations, event launches, and different other things that happen in the real estate investing scene in Dubai. I also try to network with those people who have a better understanding how more difficult deals are structured in this region, I also try to reach out to investment bankers and get more knowledge into how I can structure eventually a fund in the future, which is my long-term goal. So that's exactly how I build my network, and basically I have the right contacts that I'll have to reach out and get the deal. Yet, although I can do this myself, it actually happens the other way around, because every single month, week, and even day, I'm getting a lot of different offers and options, and even sales presentations and offers to see the actual accurate payment plans for the available options, because all these people in my network know what I'm focused on, and they send me the right deals and I try to filter them. Honestly, my WhatsApp is booming with all those deals, and sometimes it's actually quite distracting because many of them would be probably working on the same developer launch, and I would just get the same deal like at that same time from many other people. So sometimes I actually even had the the nice problem, to choose from which agents I need to work with. Nevertheless, after I receive those deals, I try to see which are the actual developers. If I like them, I have my very own list of the right developers and the specific assessment criteria to the one that I look at. So that would consider how long the developer needs to complete the project, which are the past projects that they have completed, did they do this in time, what is the basically the trend on cancellations for that developer, because if they have a launch now, but I know for a fact that that developer is pretty popular at actually holding a couple of units and then releasing them as cancellations, or even selling all of them and then just having more people who bought at the beginning at the right time but then just decided to drop out, then I would know that there's a trend for that, so I might better wait for that and just find the right amount of capital or investors and match them with the deal. Another thing, I obviously look at the prices. I know very well how much one studio, a bedroom, and two-bedroom apartments need to be priced at. And one thing which I do, and I actually don't see many people doing it in this region, I look at the actual price per square feet or per square meter, which is really rare in Dubai, and that is very confusing, because if you do proper real estate investing, you should always know your numbers per square feet or meter squared, whatever, and wherever you work in. Depends on the market, but you need to know that. It's no point looking at the final price of one apartment when the apartment might be larger than the other, you know. So for example, I get a lot of deals where, let's say, a one bedroom is priced at 1.5 million and the other one is also priced at 1.5 million or maybe 1.52 million. So that is basically 20,000 dirhams more, which is just around $6,000, $7,000. Yet, however, if you look at the actual size of those apartments, you can see a huge difference for the second one, which was only priced at 20,000 AED more. And you can even see it the other way around. So even yesterday, I got this kind of a deal where the slightly higher priced apartment was actually smaller than the other one. So I would get a much larger apartment for a smaller price, and that makes just complete doesn't actually make any sense for the investors who look at those kind of deals. So when I find them, I act really quick. Then how do I filter those deals, and how do I find the right one that I might invest myself in partnership with one of my investors, or even suggest it as a wholesale deal to one of my investors? I would go to either the sales event or to the office of the developer and try to speak with the people around there. Try to understand what's the vibe there, what's basically the feeling on the sales, because obviously the agents can tell you many things and stories, but you should never trust that. You should do your own research, your own calculations, and make sure that the numbers are right for you to get into the deal. Only then you can pay your deposit or reservation fee. Never fall into that pitfall that you have to pay a reservation fee and then hopefully they will find you an apartment, because that will be super hard to get out, specifically if you are new to this, and they will definitely find something to just push to you. The next thing, I would speak to them and ask them to see the actual current inventory and go through all the apartments. I actually need only around 10 seconds to spot them. I see the difference in the sizing, I see the difference in the pricing. I understand if that's a good price for the right area, if that's a good price for that developer, because it could be an amazing area, but the developer could go crazy and just triple their prices. So it won't make sense for you as an investor. I would then also check the rent in that area or very similar properties around. And that's when I would start to form my idea of a perfect deal for that development, for that specific project. Only then I would start thinking about either raising capital or even investing my own funds into it. Honestly, in Dubai, everyone tries to sell you and push you all the time, even when you don't want anything. So that's something that I actually think as of a skill, to be able to push back and show no emotions, no attachment to a specific unit, a specific project. Because if you do so, they will try everything just to sell that to you. It doesn't matter if it makes sense to you as an investment or if you want to live there, they will just try to push to you. So try to be just calm and rational. And then I would pick a couple of the good options. Usually I pick one or two, not more, and I will start to talk around with people, to reach out to a couple of connections that I know that they might be willing to invest. In the case you are a partner or you want to invest together with me, there are two different ways of how we can do that. First is that I will source that deal for you specifically. I would usually ask for a deposit for my time to look into this. It would take around up to 1 month, and that's because I really want to find the perfect deal that would make great sense for both you and me. And secondly, I would either offer it to you with a commission that I will take for sourcing this deal, which will always be under the list price or slightly above, so that you make a very good return on that and that you basically straight away buy it for a better price than anyone else is selling it into the secondary market. Because all the times when I get those kind of deals, they are either not available in the list for the actual developer. It's either going to be through a cancellation or distress deal, and you won't be actually even able to find them. So you would win right away. I wouldn't say you make the profit, but you would have the saving at least, and then you can wait and see what you want to do. You can resell it, you can rent it out when it's completed, if that's an off plan, for example, or if it's a ready property, you can get a mortgage later on. So I can help you with that as well. I look into that market specifically for my very own portfolio, because I like to get those kind of deals, rent them out, and just make steady regular income. The second option, however, would be a investment management agreement that would allow me to manage that for you throughout the whole process until we resell it and make you the profit, or we just rent it out in the future. That's actually something that I've just started looking at that, but it's a very scalable option, and I'm looking into creating an actual fund to raise money and basically get more investors on board. So if you want to be part of that at an early stage where we still make 30, 50 to even more percent ROI on those kind of deals, just because they're super rare and they would come maybe once a month or once in 2 months. So it's not regular, but they're really good. And if I would have the exit to more capital, I would be able to get them at much better rates. Imagine, instead of getting one bedroom, I would get the whole floor. Then I will actually be able to negotiate the price per square feet or the price for the actual apartments. Maybe I get a bundle deal. So that's when you see the real returns. And I know how to do this for a fact. So if you want to be part of this, do reach out. I'm really curious to explore this topic more. And I know it would take some time to get going and be really, really crushing it. But I'm happy to explore it together. So do reach out. Finally, the closing process is super simple. If it's an off plan, you need to pay the reservation, down payment, and then you have to also pay the government fees, which is the DLD, Dubai Land Department registration, which is 4% of the sale price, and you also need to pay an admin fee, which is usually around 4,200 dirhams. Whereas it's a ready built, then you have a few options. You can buy it all in cash and then follow the same process. You can get a mortgage and follow a longer process, but I also have the right people and I know personally how to get it because I have a couple of my own mortgages. So I would tell you exactly how this process works, and we just close the deal afterwards. Honestly, sourcing those deals has been really fun for me, and I'm actually thinking that maybe I should have started talking to you guys and reaching out even earlier, because recently when I reached out on Instagram, I actually got a really good response rate and I attracted almost 1 million euros in just under 24 hours. So that was super crazy. I didn't expect that. And thanks, you guys, for reaching out. And I am super passionate about this. I like the numbers in the game. I like the deals and I always get them done. So I hope you found this video interesting, and like always, if you did so, leave a thumbs up, comment everything below. You can reach out to me either on LinkedIn or Instagram at algorithm, and you can also drop me an email if you want. There is all the informations in the description, and I would be ready to hear out from you. And until then, see you next time.